Hey, look, babe, we can get a VW Bug, an old-style Bug.
That would be all right.
Do the trip in that and make repairs all along the road.
That will be all right. That's the most uncomfortable freaking ride. I actually think I'd rather have the Jeep again before and take it on the cross-country venture.
They actually have like straw on the seats on those. Straw on top of them, like a bunch of straw or hay or something on top of the springs and covered with a fabric. That's why it's so uncomfortable. I came from California and my Bug, I swear, it's obviously manual transmission. I swear I thought my calf was going to explode.
I mean, I had a VW bus. It had actually like a push button to start, right? And it had one of them big giant steering wheels for like a school bus, you know?
Right.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was a push button start. Like, I don't know, there was something wrong. I got it for $150 though.
Something wrong with ignition.
Yeah, there was something wrong with the ignition, so they did a bypass of some sorts and blah, blah, blah. So, next thing you know, it was a push button.
I'm glad you said push button start, because if you said push button transmission, I'd be like, man, you're old. You might want to check your ID.
No.
I don't ever remember having push button transmissions.
No.
Ours do.
No, it was a push button start. The thing was a trip. It had no second gear. Like, it only had first, third, and I can't remember if it had a fourth gear, but and reverse was like really weird too.
Yeah, reverse is weird on this.
Yeah. And I'm not good in a stick, you know, a manual anyways. Like, by any stretch of the imagination, I'm not good. And you know how the hills can be in Southern California, San Diego.
Right.
You know? Especially that one, remember that one, like, coming from Balboa Park that basically goes like this, you know?
Crazy, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't find them, grind them.
Tell you.
Just a little bit extra gas, it'll get you up the hill.
Oh god, gas was shitty in that too. Not as shitty as my Jeep that I had though, my 85 CJ7. When we redid the engine, put 350 in there.
Yeah, go figure.
Got 8 miles to a gallon on the highway in that.
Nice.
Yeah. Going to Vegas in that was never fun. It was like $300 there and $300 back just to drive. Yeah, it was fucking ridiculous.
Just from San Diego.
Just from San Diego, yeah. And I mean, you know, even in our van that we had, shit, we did what? We weren't even at 3/4 of a tank when we got to Barstow, and we still put money in it in Barstow, and then finished up in Vegas.
All right.
But still, just crazy. like. I'm gonna give it more gas power.
Nicole's play toy. Go ahead, do it again.
Garbage in there.
Do it again. Wow, it's really
It says, hold on. It says 12-inch, number 86, Ordnance Department of USA, 1890, weight 13 tons, 29,000 pounds, FEH inspector. Something I can't read. Arsenal, 1900. This is a really freaking old cannon. That would look really good in the front yard. Homeland Security.
Oh. Okay, cool. It's auto-focusing. Fantastic.
Is it?
Yeah.
All I need is some bubble gum.
Holy shit, bumblebee. Bitch.
Some bubble gum. Some duct tape. A little black powder. We can make this thing here work.
This ain't your mama's gun.
Oh, that's cool. Do that again.
This ain't your mama's gun. This isn't your mama's gun. You want to talk about neighborhood crime watch? Stick one of these in your front yard and see if there's any crime.
That's cool as fuck. So what are you in jail for?
I took my wife's Hello Kitty bag on accident.
That's the coolest stuff. Let me see what it costs me.
I was chasing squirrels in the national park.
You gonna eat them?
I was gonna barbecue them. Squirrel's like, barbecue? I'm out of here.
I just want bail money. It wasn't me. I promise. I promise. It wasn't me. Telling you. Nobody knows the trouble I've seen. But I have a criminal justice degree. I watch CSI. This is not fair. I'm just kidding. Something. Mark's like, oh, pull in the shaded spot. The only shaded spot in the parking lot. Wait till you see what it's reserved for. Moving their area.
Feed them, that's right. And a nuisance alligator is simply an alligator that's lost its fear of people. If you were to go out in the wild and view alligators, they would actually not let you get this close. They jump back into the water where they feel nice and safe because we are very tall, we make a lot of noise, and we're much bigger than the things that they would normally eat, so they want to get away from us. Once you start feeding them, however, they learn that we're not so big and scary, and we are a much easier source of food than them waiting for hours on end out in the pond for something to swim by, because that's what they would normally do. So they do learn that people need food, and they will approach everybody that they can, hoping to get a handout. So they're, again, not looking to us as a food item, but they're hoping that we have food for them. So back in the 50s and 60s, alligators were hunted to near extinction. So at that time, there was a breeding and a relocation program put into place by Fish and Wildlife and the state of Florida. And a lot of facilities like Busch Gardens went ahead and took in these nuisance alligators so that they weren't destroyed. Now, because of these programs, alligators have actually been one of the great success stories out there, and we now have 1.5 million here in the state of Florida. There's even a regulated hunting season for these guys. Their numbers are so great. So doing very, very well out there. Unfortunately for the alligator, that means that once they are deemed a nuisance, if they're over 4 feet long, they're pulled and destroyed because that is considered a dangerous animal. So there's no place left for these guys to go. So if you only remember one thing from my talk today, please remember to enjoy alligators from a distance and don't feed them. Not only is it bad for them and for us if we accidentally get grabbed by one of these guys, but it's also illegal to poke, prod, harass, or feed these guys out in the wild. So you just want to go ahead and enjoy them from the distance. Now you do see our guys out here hanging out. They were fed this morning, so what they do is they come on out to land and they warm up in the sun, and that gets their metabolism going and gets their digestive juices going, and that's how they digest their food. Now these animals are cold-blooded, so they do need a nice warm temperature outside to be able to digest their food. So during the summertime, obviously it's the hottest time of the year, especially here in Florida, so they're going to eat the most. They're going to eat a whopping 2 times a week and get about 15 pounds of food total during that week. So much, much more than even we eat in a year. We easily out-eat these guys. During the spring and fall time, which we're getting ready to hit the fall time here pretty soon, we're going to bump that back to once a week, and they'll eat on Saturdays at our 10:30 talk. And then during the winter time, they actually don't eat at all. It's the same thing that they're going to go through out in the wild. It's a semi-hibernative state called torpor, where basically all they are doing during this time is trying to stay warm and try to keep their basic body going. So they're going to come up onto the land, get out into the nice warm sun, heat their bodies up, and then when it starts to get a little bit cooler later on in the afternoon, they're going to head back into the water where it's going to be a little bit warmer than it would be up on land. So here in the state of Florida, the best time to see alligators would be during the winter time, especially on a nice, bright, sunny day. Would be the best time to go see them. Now, out in the wild, what do you think these guys would eat? You want to guess?
Birds.
Anything they can get. Birds, yes, they will eat birds. They'll eat fish, turtles, snakes, snails, crawfish, anything. And you're seeing a trend here, it's all little tiny things. All little things that can be found in the water with them. So fish and turtles make up about 80% of their diet. Then you've got wading birds, small mammals like possums and raccoons that are going to come down to the water's edge and take a drink.
Or Florida deer.
Florida deer, they will eat a deer if it falls in the water, yep.
Well, they're small. You said
Yep,
small.
the key deer, yep, they'll put those key deer down there in the keys, yep, sure will. But these guys are also, just like vultures, we call them the vultures of the waterways because they are very good at cleaning up anything that falls in the water and drowns. So, pigs, red-tailed deer.
Well, its arm, I don't think it's supposed to be like that.
White-tailed deer, there you go.
I've never seen a gator lay like that.
Water, these guys will clean up. But it's very good for us, too, because they make sure that animal
Right.
our water here in Florida from the freshwater system. So these guys will be found in all that freshwater area, so they're going to do very well at cleaning it up. Now here at Busch Gardens, we do have to feed our alligators because it is part of taking care of them. And we feed them fish, chicken, and a sausage that we make here in our zoo kitchen. In fact, today was a feed day. They got mullet, about 2-pound fish each. And these guys got probably about 3 or 4 fish per gator, and then they swim off and they're full and they wait, and on Tuesday they'll be right back up here to eat again. Now when we do feed our alligators, it's not just a giant free-for-all where we just kind of let them do whatever we want. There are rules. We do have table manners out here that the alligators have to follow in order to get food. And it is the first thing we teach our alligators when we do bring them into this habitat. So the rules are, they need to be in the water, in this area behind me between the palm tree and the oak tree. They need to be completely in the water. So if their little chin is resting on the little bank back here behind me, they're too close to me. They need to back up and try again. And what we'll do is we'll simply walk down the line back and forth and toss the food right next to their mouth, not directly at them because they can't see straight in front of their face. You take a look at where their eyes are. They're on the sides of their head. So we're going to throw the food just to the side of their face so they can have a nice swing radius to go ahead and grab that. And if they do come a little bit out of the water or come completely out of the water, we're just going to pass them right on by, let them readjust to get back in the water, and then we'll go ahead and come back down and feed them. They learn very quickly that that is where they need to be. So it is something that we do here not only for our safety, but we also want to make sure that all of our alligators are okay and they're eating. So this gives us a chance to count all 16 of them, make sure they're all coming up, and make sure that nobody's got any new cuts or scrapes or anything like that that we have to address. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor to any questions. Is there anything you guys would like to know? Yes.
They do venture into brackish water, so that's why.
Yep, alligators do venture into brackish water. They can't stay there or live there. They're kind of like us. We don't have a salt gland to secrete that salt, neither do the alligators. So they can swim in it, they just can't live in it. Now the American crocodile, which is also found here in Florida, just further south, they do have a salt-secreting gland found on their body, so they are able to live in the brackish and even the salt water. So a lot of people say a good rule of thumb is if it's in the salt water, it's a crocodile. If it's in a fresh water, it's an alligator. It's pretty true, but do know that they can go one way or the other, but the alligator cannot permanently live in salt or brackish water.
Never nice to find them in your pool.
Never nice to find an alligator in your pool, though. Which actually brings up a very good point. Like I mentioned earlier, it is illegal to poke, prod, harass, or do anything to these alligators. That even means if you find them in your pool or they make it through your doggy door and make it in your kitchen, like happened here a couple of years ago, you need to call Fish and Wildlife or the proper authorities, because if you try to move it, you can still get a hefty fine and some possible jail time, even if it ends up in your house. So they are serious when they mean don't bother these guys. Even if they come invade your area, you got to have the proper authorities take them away. Anybody else?
Has one of them ever tried to get y'all?
Has one of these alligators ever tried to get us? None of the ones out here. We used to have females out here when we had our breeding program going on, and females make excellent mothers. They will defend their nest and their babies with their life. So we did have a couple of close calls where I've heard stories of keepers having to jump up over this fence because there used to be a nesting site right underneath that sign there, and they wouldn't see the female and she'd come charge up at them, and we'd have to get out of the way pretty quick. Not since I've been here, because we haven't had females in this habitat in a few years, but that's really been where the close calls were with the girls. So when they stopped those breeding programs, we went ahead and stopped with the females, and we actually sent our 2 females to another facility and traded for the 12 smaller males. So now there's 16 boys out here.
How high can they jump?
How high can they jump? A smaller gator can get pretty good distance out of the water, about half their body length out of the water if they were to jump. If you go to other places where they actually do the gator jumps, they'll string a wire across the pond and have to go ahead and jump up. If it's deep enough, they can get some pretty good height. If they're sitting on the edge of the water and getting ready to kind of jet out at something that's coming down to take a drink, they can get out to their back legs within about 12 miles an hour. So some really good safety tips when it comes to being around fresh water here in Florida. Always assume any fresh body of water, if it's over 12 inches, has an alligator living in it. That includes retention ponds on the side of the road, golf course, waterways, things like that. You really want to be careful. Always stay about 3 to 4 feet far enough away. It's not going to bother you. Obviously, do not go jumping in water if you can't see in it, or you know that there is an alligator living in it. Stick to a swimming pool. It's much safer. Obviously, don't feed these guys, and you'll be pretty safe. We also recommend that if you are walking around here in any of our parks or anything like that, you always carry a walking stick with you. It's good. It helps you trip the person that you're with so that you can get away from the gator faster. No, I'm just joking. You don't want to do that. It's actually, what we use it for here is a movable fence. So if a gator does sneak up on you, let's say you're walking by what looks like a big giant compost pile out there, that's probably an alligator nest. And if a female were to come out at you, you can place that boop in between you and the female. And as soon as she looks at that stick and kind of backs away or takes a bite of that stick, you turn and run the other way as fast as you can.
How fast can they run, though?
How fast can alligators run? A big guy like this, you're going to be able to outrun them. They only go about 3, maybe 4 miles an hour. They don't run very fast. And they don't run fast for a long period of time. If you think about it, you go to the gym and you work out for a little bit and you start to get tired, your muscles start to get tired. That's all the lactic acid building up from you working out. With these guys, that happens a lot faster. So that gator right there could probably only move about 3 miles an hour for about 3 or 4 body lengths, and that's about it. He's going to stop. He's not going to be able to move really anymore. All of their speed's going to be in the water or just at the edge of the water and coming out of the water. Now, if you're talking about a younger alligator, they can get some pretty good speed on them. So again, if you are next to the water's edge and you're thinking about it, just kind of take a couple steps back and you won't have to worry about these guys. Yes.
show them I work for the media.
All right.
What you got?
Ooh, at least he's good to breathe.
Yeah, whiplash. Be nice up there, boy. Liz. That one's been right on you, man. If you made it.
What's that?
That would have been right on you if you made it.
Holy crap.
Look, they're still crying.
Holy crap. Whiplash. Oh, this is where I have a feeling we're going to get wet. Oh, it's turning, thank goodness. I got laid down my bra in the pocket. Oh, down That's the only thing that sucks is that whiplash feeling. Oh, this one looks like, oh, this is where we're going to get soaking wet. We're like barely wet. That's the best part. Just enough to be cool.
That's why your name is perfectly dry. I know.
Feel better now?
We're gonna get
We are barely wet. Barely wet. Like a couple of drops wet. Ridiculous.
3 seconds with the drops, and you're done.
Left flip. Mira la caída. Holy cow, we're kind of high up. Holy shnikes.
Have you been on that ride? Wild Surge?
I can't go on that ride because of health conditions.
It's not fun.
It's not.
To see. Austin, please make note that this hornbill appears to be perfectly healthy and well fed. Indeed, you're right. I want to get a new reading on the ice thickness near here. Why don't you stay here? I'll be back shortly. Oh, just in case, you should take this. The research center is...
Luis, I know. Oh, Grandpa.
I'll be back soon. Use your imagination.
By waving and shouting a wonderful farewell to our hard-working station master, Alicia. Put your hands up, right up, turn your left and say goodbye, Alicia. I hear 25. Now everyone say goodbye to Alicia. to your right also, nice people to wave to you on a golf cart, and animals behind the fence. Those are Nyala. Most of them are small candidates, but back to the list. Nyala behind the fences. There are a couple of youngsters in the group. A boy and a girl, one in January and February. And the large one, the shaggy brown one, is your old man. Oh wow, we're chilling. This is zebra. Rams and zebra. And those rams coming at them up the left. And those are wildebeest. This is their stripes. They're big beautifully all the way around their bellies. They may be the most photographed type of zebra on Earth. There are different theories about the benefits that those stripes provide to the zebra. One popular theory is that stripes might confuse an attacking predator. And you also notice wildebeest and even other antelope on the other side of the tree. Wildebeest are known for migrating frequently in search of new growth on different trees. So I think you might see more animals in the park.
one way to show that you're thankful is by giving your folks a video